There's something about playing in minor key on the banjo that makes me really sad and really happy at the same time. Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm your host, Banjo Ben, on the website that teaches you how to play banjo, guitar, and mandolin. Today we're wrapping up a 3-week Shady Grove in D minor series. I've already done it on mandolin and guitar. A lot of folks get scared when you start talking about playing in a minor key on the banjo. It's really not that bad. We're going to talk about that a lot and debunk some of the myths about that. But maybe the most important thing about this lesson, besides learning a couple breaks to Shady Grove, is learning how to take a basic melody and then add little tricks onto it to make a more robust solo. I wish someone would have done that with me. Now, I can do it with you, but I wish someone would have just said, here's the basic melody of a song, now here's what we do to make it cool and to spice it up. That's priceless information. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website where you can join as a Gold Peak member, see hundreds of videos like this one. And today's video is about a 25-minute instructional video. I teach you every note. We talk about technique. And then also I have another video segment on there where we talk about playing backup in D minor, rolling backup down the neck. I've got tabs in PDF and TEF file formats, as well as 4 different speeds of MP3 rhythm tracks that you can download and practice along with. There's nothing else you need. Okay, so me and you diving into the first measure of Shady Grove right now. We're going to learn Shady Grove in D minor, and don't let the D minor talk scare you, okay? There's several different ways to approach playing in D minor on the banjo. I'm going to approach it much like I would approach very often playing in the key of D. So I'm going to leave my first 4 strings alone, they're standard tuning, but then my 5th string I'm going to tune up a whole step up to an A note. I'm going to do that by spiking at the 7th fret, or if you have a 5th string capo, you can bring it up to the 7th fret. Now let's go ahead and throw the tab up there. We're going to start with a basic melody. The point of that being is we need to know what we're trying to play. And then every 8 bars, we're going to add something a little different. We'll add slides, we'll add hammer-ons, and then finally some little licks. Okay? You'll notice that beneath each one of the notes, I have our right hand pick indications there. So T would stand for thumb, 1 would stand for index, 2 would stand for middle. Okay. We're going to be getting up the neck quite a bit in this one. This is just a lot of fun to play. We're going to start with 2 quarter notes. We're going to be based out of this D7 position where we have our 2nd fret on the G string, 3rd string, and 1st fret on the 2nd string, the B string. And we just start with those notes. Those are the little pickup notes. We'll use those quite a bit every 8 bars as we go back through this progression. And then measure 2, we get into the D minor, and our melody goes Shady Grove, so it stays on that D note. Now if we're playing mandolin or guitar, it'd be very easy to just play that note over and over again. And that's what I did in my mandolin guitar versions. On the banjo, I'm going to work a roll out to accent that note. So I'm going to play another D note on my B string on the 3rd fret, and I'm going to do a forward roll, and that'll be my way of accenting out that D note. Shady Grove, my little love. So here we're just going to follow the melody with some quarter notes in measure 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I grab this C note way up here on the 5th fret of the G string. Now why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just play it up here on the 1st fret of the B string? Those are the same notes. Well, the reason is because what our melody is going to do. Our melody is going to start climbing a lot. So I know that I'm going to have to end up way up here for my melody. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a spot to go ahead and start moving me that way. And this is a good place to do it. Then we have just 2 notes there at the end of measure 3. And then I want you to move on up to the 7th fret of the G string with your index finger. Play a quarter note, 2 eighth notes, and then with your ring finger play 9, and then 8th fret on the 2nd string. So let me just, to give you context, play measures 1 through 4. Remember, on the side I have a whole other video segment where I play the whole thing through even slower than this. Okay, so we're starting to hear the melody take shape. Now as we get into measure 5, our melody moves up to that A note. Shady Grove, I know. And once again, I'm going to grab that A note, the 10th fret of the B string, instead of the 7th fret of the first string, because I know that I'm about to need this note way up here. So that would just cause more of a reach. So the more that I can move up the neck and keep my notes within range, the more I'm going to do that. So we're going to get that A note right there, and then do a forward roll again, just like we did measure 2. Then measure 6, we're just going to play the straight melody. Shady Grove. So we're going to play middle finger there, pinky on the 12th fret of the first string, 10th fret, and then with your index finger, come and grab that 10th fret of the B string. Then slide it down, you'll pick it up, and slide it down, and play 8, 9, and then come down to 5th fret again. And you may want to do that 5th fret with your index finger. And I get that little slide in there, but I'm not really doing that on purpose, but I think it just kind of sounds cool. Now at this point, we're almost done with the first time through the progression. In measure 8, I want you to bar the first 2 strings at the 5th fret with your index finger. And we'll start out with 2 quarter notes, and then do a backwards roll. So let me play measures 5 through 8 for you. When we get to measure 9, we've wrapped up the first time through the progression. Then we go back into those 2 pickup notes. Now that's half of a solo. So now as we get into our second half of our first solo, we're going to start adding some slides. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we'll keep that exact same basic melody. We're just going to look back and see where are some places that we can throw slides in and make it a little more interesting. So if you haven't printed out the PDF file of this tab here on the website, I'd like for you to go do that now so that you can glance back up and see how we're manipulating this melody. So nothing changes as we go into measure 10. It's just like measure 2. Nothing changes for measure 11. But here's where we get into measure 12. We're going to add a slide. Our first note in the melody is the 7th fret. Shady Grove, I know. But I'm already at the 5th fret. So why can't I just slide from the 5th to 7th fret? And that's what I'm going to do, is do an 8th note slide. And you may want to compare that to measure 4 to see how it's different. We're just sliding into the note that we need. Let me play 9 through 12 for you. Now the same thing here in measure 13. Our next note is this 10th fret, and we're going to need to play it with our middle finger. You're already at the 8th, so why not slide into it to give it a little bit of character? Measure 14 is exactly the same as measure 6. Nothing to really slide there. Measure 15 is just like 7. We can slide down there if you want. Now when we get to measure 16, we're about to wrap up this first break. If you'll remember back in measure 8, I just barred the 5th fret. Well, here we're going to add a slide and slide into that bar. So I want you to go down to the 3rd fret and bar both strings, play the 3rd fret on the B string, and then slide it up to that position that you need. So if you'll notice, nothing has changed with any of our right hand stuff, none of our pick hand stuff. We're just throwing slides in to get up to the notes that we played before. We get to measure 17. We finished the first break. So this is where the second solo, I give you a second solo here to have in your back pocket. This time we're going to add hammer-ons, and then we'll add some more stuff as well.